Hi, my name is Brooke Michael, and we want to welcome you today to the University of Michigan Flint's traditional BSN webinar. We're going to start off today with some of the employment statistics. So let's talk about the average income for a nurse. So the average income nationally for a nurse is around $73,000. The best paid percent is going to be about $110,000. So the lowest paying being about $52,000. And in between 2019 to 2029, there is an increase of about 7% job growth, meaning that they see at least a 7% increase in the need for jobs in the field of nursing. So it's a really great time to get into nursing. So now that you know that you want to become a nurse, let's talk about why that you should choose the University of Michigan Flint for your BSN. So first off, we are CCNE accredited. That's going to matter in a couple of different aspects. One, if you're planning on furthering your education beyond a BSN to an MSN, DMP, CRNA school, those are competitive admissions process. And those programs are looking at where did you get your bachelor's degree from? They want to know you were well educated so that you can be successful in graduate programs, because graduate programs is difficult. And they know that if you came from a CCNE accredited program, especially the University of Michigan Flint, that you are well educated and well prepared to be successful in a graduate program. The other thing it's going to help is it's going to help you in jobs. So again, an employer wants to know that you know how to do the job, that you didn't just buy your diploma, but you actually learned the skills necessary to be a good nurse. And so they know that when they see that University of Michigan Flint name, that you were well educated and you're ready and prepared to do the job ahead of you. So we also have some direct admissions opportunities for our programs, and all of these different bullet points we'll talk about in more detail on the next few slides. We have undergraduate certificate opportunities. This is a great opportunity for students to not only graduate with your BSN, but also graduate with an undergraduate certificate in the area of leadership and management, case management, or nursing informatics. So this is a great opportunity that a lot of programs don't have, so that you can maximize your credits, and it only is an additional 1 to 2 classes above and beyond the BSN curriculum, and you get that certificate. We also have early assurance into our MSN and DMP programs. So as we mentioned before, MSN and DMP programs are competitive admissions. Our MSN and DMP is one of the best in the United States online MSN and DMP programs. So again, a lot of students are wanting to get into that. And what we do is allow our students to hold a seat in one of our competitive admissions process. We're going to talk a little bit more again on that slide. And we also offer study abroad opportunities where you can go to another country or here in the United States and do some great work as a nurse and use that towards credit for your classes. We also have personalized course plans for each student so that we can help you get those classes, maximize your financial aid or your scholarship, and get through the program at your pace. And we also have a 95.5% pass rate on the NCLEX on that very first time. So your very first attempt, you have a 95.5% chance of passing, because again, you're well educated in our program. And finally, our faculty still practice in the field, and that's a huge advantage. So you don't have to worry about a nurse that hasn't actually been in the field for 10, 20, 30 years trying to tell you how to be a nurse. These faculty have actually and are currently practicing in the field, so that they have real world experience that they can come help and bring to the classroom. So let's talk about that nursing direct admit opportunity. So if you're a high school student and you're interested in nursing and you have a minimum of a 3.4 GPA, you may be eligible to apply to our direct admit. This allows you to come directly into our nursing program, start working directly with your BSN advisor. And so you want to look at the different application requirements to be successful in the program. You're going to want to complete all your courses at UM-Flint. The only exception, of course, is dual enrollment in college while in high school at that Genesee Early College. You're going to maintain a 3.0 GPA at the university, and you're going to maintain that 3.0 GPA in your sciences. You'll see the classes that we're talking about That's micro, anatomy and physiology 1 and 2, patho, and then your chemistry. So if this is something that you are interested in, you can click these links in the slideshow that's been sent to you, or it's also on our website. So let's talk about the certificate opportunities. As I mentioned before, we have 3 undergraduate certificate opportunities the students can complete while they're working on their BSN. So we have the undergraduate certificate in leadership and management, case management, and nursing and healthcare informatics. These classes, as I mentioned before, only add an additional 1 to 2 courses into your curriculum above and beyond your BSN requirements. And then you graduate not only with your BSN, but also a certificate in one of these areas. You not only get a certificate from the University of Michigan-Flint, this will also be listed on your transcripts. And finally, the content that you learn in these certificates will make you eligible to set for the national accrediting exams. If you decide you want to be nationally certified in one of these areas, the content is tailored to those exams, those nationally accrediting exams, so that when you go to set for those exams, then you will be able to be successful in completion. We finally have an opportunity for our BSN nurses to start into our graduate level healthcare simulation certificate. So this is typically only open to students that already hold their bachelor's degree, but we allow our BSN students to take 2 of the 4 classes. There are 4 classes required in that certificate, but we allow them to take the 2 of those classes in their last or final 2 semesters at the University of Michigan-Flint, so that when you graduate, you only have 2 classes remaining to take. The good news is not only are you halfway done with a graduate level certificate, but then also those first 2 classes that you take in your undergrad are at the undergraduate tuition cost. So even though you're getting a graduate tuition, or I'm sorry, a graduate certificate, you're only paying graduate tuition for 2 of the 4 classes, which is a huge money saver. Finally, in that healthcare simulation certificate, that is an ever-growing field. As you can imagine, especially during COVID, they're really looking, there is a higher demand. There are more jobs out there for healthcare simulators than there are actual healthcare simulators out there. And the University of Michigan-Flint is the only school in the entire state of Michigan that has this certificate opportunity. So let's talk about early assurance into our MSN and DNP. This is for those students that know they want to further their education beyond the BSN into an MSN or DNP program. As I mentioned before, it is competitive admission process. So we take top tier students. So if you are maintaining a 3.5 GPA at the University of Michigan-Flint during your senior year or your last 2 semesters at the university, you're going to get an email from Julie that says, hey, are you interested in MSN and DNP? When you get that email, you can respond back. And what it's basically doing is holding a seat when you're ready to start into the MSN and DNP program. So you would let Julie know when you're going to graduate and or when you're ready to start into graduate programs. And we would hold your seat in that particular semester for the MSN or DNP track that you're interested in. So again, if you have more questions or need more information, there's more information on our website. You see that below. Also, you can always email Julie. You'll see her email as well on this slide with more questions about that early assurance into our MSN and DNP program. We also have, as we spoke about, service learning trips. So each spring we kind of go to different locations. We have Kenya and the Dominican Republic and Cambodia. We also have local opportunities within the United States. So these are great because you can use them as part of your community class and or part of one of your nursing electives. So you get college credit for it, but you get to go out and get that experience outside of the United States to see what those healthcare needs are and how you can better serve the lower income or lower populations across the world. So let's talk about the admission criteria through our traditional BSN program. So you do need to maintain a GPA of a minimum of a 2.75 for your prerequisite courses, along with your last 30 credits need to be at a 2.75. With the science classes, we do take a special consideration. So we would like to see the GPA or the grade in those science classes at a higher level. So of course, if you have a lower GPA, if you're bordering that 2.75, but your sciences are A's or B pluses, then they're going to take that into special consideration. So you want to really succeed or try hard in those science classes. You do need to submit an essay. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. And you need references, 2 and 3 to 3 references. Again, we're going to talk a little bit more about that on the next couple of slides. So the prerequisite courses are anatomy and physiology 1 and 2, you have microbiology, English 1 and 2, pathophysiology, intro to professional nursing, and general chemistry. Now, these classes can transfer in. So you'll see at the bottom, you can look down below. That's our transfer equivalency website. So you go to that website, you put the college or university that you've already attended into there, and then you type the class you took at the college or university that you attended, and it'll show you how it's going to transfer into the university. Now, it does need to transfer in as an exact equivalent. So you want to make sure you see those course numbers compared to your class that you transferred in. Now, if you've not already taken classes and transferred in, please speak to your advisor first before you take anything additional to make sure it's going to transfer in correctly. Don't just use that transfer equivalency database and think that, oh yeah, that's definitely anatomy and physiology 1 or 2 or whatever. And then you take it and you waste time and money and come to find out it didn't transfer in the way you thought it was. So we're going to talk about in a couple of slides how to book an appointment and talk to an advisor. Please do that before you decide to take and transfer in any of these classes. But if you've already taken them, you already think you completed anatomy and physiology 1 and 2, for example, then absolutely please use that transfer equivalency database to see how you think your classes are going to transfer in. Again, once you've applied, then we'll be able to tell you specifically as well when you send in those transcripts. Now, for your science classes, you'll see below your biology classes, your patho, your pharmacology, they need to be no more than 10 years old. So you want to keep that in mind. The only exception is if your anatomy and physiology 1 and 2 are more than 10 years old, but your patho is less than 10, you do not need to retake anatomy and physiology 1 and 2. So these are your steps to application. I am not going to read this all to you. You can read it on your own time. Again, you have the slideshow to read this, and or it is on our website. You'll see the link at the top, but it's also on our website. So you can read through this at your own time. The thing, it's kind of a checklist. You can see what you need to turn in. The only things I want to point out are 2 things. You'll see in the far right column, you'll see step 3 where it says you need 2 professional references are required. You can have up to 3, but one of those needs to be a faculty from your prerequisite courses. So it can be a UM-Flint faculty or it can be from another college or university, but you do need at least 1 faculty reference. And then also number 4, I want to point out is that 1-page essay. So when you go to apply, you'll see what the topic is. The topics can change by different application years. So make sure that you read and find out what your year's essay topic is. But the most important thing you can do is it needs to be 1 page double spaced. It can be up to 2 pages. You can have a second page, but remember, it needs to be at least 1 page. Please don't write 2 sentences for your essay. It will not go over well for you. If you have some past experience, work experience in the nursing or healthcare field, and you want to speak to that, and you don't see that the essay question lines up with you to be able to talk about that, just know that on your application, there is a section that says, is there anything else the committee needs to know? It's a great place for you to put in work experience or life experience that you've had in the healthcare field, and or if at one point in your life you didn't do so well in your college classes, but now you have, you can use that area to explain why you maybe struggled in classes during a time, maybe it was because of COVID or a life event or whatever, and why you're now on a path to be successful in those classes in the nursing program. So let's talk about the different nursing curriculum. So we're going to talk about these bullet pointed classes first, and then we're going to go to your semester by semester program. These classes have a couple of different opportunities. You can take them before you get admitted into the BSN program. You can take them during your BSN program, and or you can transfer some of them in. Not all of them have the transfer opportunity, but a lot of them do. So these classes have flexibility. They have to be completed in your program, but you could take them before admission. So if you needed an additional class to kind of fulfill financial aid requirements, you can take them during the program, either in the fall and the winter semester, again, to meet those to meet those financial aid requirements. And or we don't have, when you see semester 1, 2, 3, 4 and the next screen, that's speaking of a fall or a winter, depending on which semester you were admitted under. So if you wanted to, you could also take these classes over the summer semester if you wanted to kind of take them during that time to kind of speed up your process or something like that. So, and then again, like I said, you could potentially transfer those in, especially like developmental psych is a common one to transfer in. Nutrition is a common one that transfers in. And legal and moral can transfer in from a couple of different places. Again, speak to an advisor before you decide. If you decide to take these classes and transfer them in, don't just rely on the database. Speak to an advisor to make sure they're going to transfer in the way you're wanting them to. Just because a class says nutrition at the community college does not mean it transfers in as the full nutrition class you see here. So these are your nursing curriculum. I'm not going to read it all to you. You can kind of look over that at your own time. Again, it's on our website, and you'll have it in the slideshow. You'll see where, again, it says semester 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are a fall or winter, depending on, obviously, if you were admitted for a fall start, your semester 1 is fall, semester 2 is winter, semester 3 is fall, semester 4 is winter, etc. If you were admitted into a winter semester, semester 1 is winter, semester 2 is fall, semester 3 is winter, etc. So again, as I mentioned before, you have the summertime off, but if you wanted to, you can take some of those classes on the back screen if you haven't already completed them during that spring summertime. So let's talk about some common questions that students have. Let's talk about how long does it take? Now, once you're admitted into the program, so you're starting that, semester 1 slide you just saw a minute ago, it's going to take 5 semesters. You just saw that fall, winter, or winter, fall. And so the prerequisite classes are going to be dependent upon, have you already completed them? How fast do you want to go through them? When are they being offered? Are you taking them and transferring them in? All of those good things. So it just depends on how fast or slow you do those prereq classes. And that was on that kind of 2 slides ago, that anatomy and physiology 1 and 2, patho, chemistry, those classes that we talked about. So how many students do we admit each year? We take 48 students twice a year. So 48 students in the fall, 48 students in the winter. When can I apply? Now, for applying to take those prerequisite classes, you can apply any semester, fall, winter, spring, or summer. You can start into those prerequisite classes, or even those classes we just talked about 2 slides ago, where it was like legal and moral, nutrition, things like that. But those anatomy and physiologies, those classes as well, you can start and apply into those at any time. But let's talk about specifically, when can you apply to start into the traditional BSN program, into that semester 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So you can start in a fall or a winter in that. Students may apply after you've successfully completed 4 of those program prerequisite classes. 2 of them must be sciences. 1 of them must be a biology. So once you've completed those, you can go ahead and apply, but keep in mind that all those prerequisite classes have to be completed before you can start into that semester 1 class. You do need to have a GPA of a 2.75 in your last 30 credits for admissions. You can take up to a year off without being penalized. And as I just mentioned, you do have to have all those prerequisite classes done before you want to start semester 1. So make sure that whenever you're deciding to apply, even if you've met that bullet point 2, that you are going to be able to complete all those other prerequisites before semester 1. Can I take and transfer courses in? We already talked about this. Absolutely, you can. You can look at our transfer database and see how they transferred in. Once you're admitted with us, obviously, we would do an official evaluation and tell you what's transferring in. And again, as always, if you're wanting to take anything additional, please make sure to speak to your advisor first. And then finally, is this degree a University of Michigan degree? Absolutely it is. It is the same diploma signed by the same people, whether you went to Ann Arbor, Dearborn, or Flint. You have the same alumni benefits and you're in the same alumni groups. So it's absolutely a University of Michigan degree. So how to apply to the university. So this is our application to the University of Michigan-Flint. This is your first step. You're going to go to umflint.edu/apply. If you have taken at least one class at another college or university as a program seeking or degree seeking student, then you are a transfer student. If you took some dual enrollment classes or you were a non-degree seeking student at another college or university, then you would apply as a freshman student. If you're not sure, you can always talk to our admissions people. They'll help you out. But when in doubt, go for the transfer student application. So once you do that, you're going to click the first time user creation button, and then you apply as a pre-nursing student, not a BSN completion, a pre-nursing student, because that's what you are. Even if you think you've completed all those prerequisite classes and you're ready to start in, you still need to apply to the university as a pre-nursing student. So after you apply, you do need to send in official college transcripts from all colleges or universities you've attended. So you can send in unofficial transcripts during this time and be admitted. You do need to send official transcripts in at a later date, but we can admit you and you can get started into registering and all that good stuff with unofficials. So what you would do is you could get a copy from your school's website. You could take a picture with your smartphone as long as it's legible. That's the key. We got to be able to read it. And then at a later date, you can send in those official transcripts to the university, and you'll see our mailing address along with the electronic or email address where you send in either unofficial transcripts, or if your school or the clearinghouse is sending in a official electronic transcript, then it can go to that email address as well. And then if you are still a high school student and or you have taken, as I mentioned before, less than 30 credits, or you were at your high school and you were doing dual enrollment. So we'll need your high school transcript in those scenarios. So if you applied as a freshman, we're going to need your high school transcripts. If you applied as a transfer student, we probably won't need them unless you've taken less than 30 credits by the time you're ready to start, so that we can kind of do that evaluation. They'll let you know. So booking an appointment, visit our website is the easiest way to do it. You're going to go to umflint.edu/student success, and there's a yellow book an appointment button right at the top of the screen. Under the major, you're going to select pre-nursing based on your first initial of your last name. So there's 2 advisors. They're divided up by last names. So if your last name is Alexander, you would find the pre-nursing A through K advisor and a book with her. If you don't have your student ID yet, it's going to say that that box is required. But if you don't have your student ID yet, then what you can do is type in your full name in that box. Or if you just can't find it or don't know where your student ID is, just type in your name in that box. So let's talk about tuition and scholarships. So our tuition is listed on our website. There's a lower level when you're taking your 100 and 200 level courses, and a upper level, and you'll see that all on that tuition website. Now we have a lot of scholarship opportunities, You really need to click through or type in these when you get the slideshow presentation and read through each one to see which ones you qualify for. There are a lot of opportunities out there, and so just kind of read through and see which ones. We have scholarships for transfer students. We have scholarships for freshmen. We have childcare assistance if you have children. There's a lot of different opportunities out there. Of course, we have the Go Blue guarantee, which is big right now. That is going to be based on you going full-time at the university starting this fall semester. It is based on your either high school GPA or your transfer GPA, depending on if you're a transfer or high school student. And then it's going to be based on your family income, and it's a full ride scholarship. So With all of these scholarships, the most important thing to do is make sure you have a FAFSA on file. You have to complete the federal financial aid application in order to receive scholarships. Because we're a public institution, we have to report where our money is going. So you have to fill that out, even if you know you won't qualify. You do need to have a FAFSA on file. So make sure that you have that on file. Read through these, see which ones you qualify for, and then reach out to the different departments if you feel like you're going to qualify for one of those. So these are your different advisors for the program. Down below, you'll see Lauren and Chelsea. Again, those are your pre-nursing advisors based on your last name. You see their phone number and their email address. Once you're admitted into the program, so you've done that secondary application other than applying to the university, but actually applied to the School of Nursing, Monica is going to be your advisor. You will see her phone number and email address. You're more than welcome to reach out to any of these staff members to ask questions. You can also send me an email if you got my email through your RSVP and you got the slideshow and video presentation. You're welcome to email me as well with any questions that you may have about the program. So we want to thank you so much today for joining us for the University of Michigan Flint's BSN webinar. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.